Let me tell you something this world doesn't want to admit. You don't need to be smart to win. You don't need to be gifted. You don't need a 150 IQ or a wall full of degrees. What you need is focus, tunnel vision, obsession. Because I've seen it time and time again. The guy with all the talent, all the brains, all the potential, he's too busy showing off, too distracted, too addicted to dopamine, to likes, to comfort. The world worships talent. We glorify genius. We celebrate people who were born with it as if success is some kind of lottery that only the gifted can win. But let me tell you something that most people are too afraid to admit. Talent means absolutely nothing without focus. That's the truth. You can have the sharpest mind, the best education, and a head full of brilliant ideas. But if you can't lock in, if you can't stay committed to one mission without getting pulled in 1,000 directions, you will lose. You will get lapped by the person you look down on, the one you called an idiot. See, the problem isn't intelligence. The problem is distraction. We live in a world where everyone wants to be everything all at once. They chase one goal today, then another one tomorrow. They're full of potential, full of energy, but it's all scattered. There's no discipline, no consistency. They jump from idea to idea, chasing motivation instead of building habits. And so they never go deep on anything. They never master the craft. They never see what they're really capable of because they never stay long enough in the fire. Meanwhile, the so-called idiot, the underdog, the one you never thought would make it, he's locked in. He doesn't care about looking smart. He doesn't care if you laugh at him. He's focused on one thing and he puts in the work day after day. He's not bouncing around. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's obsessed. And that obsession becomes power because focus isn't just about paying attention. It's about sacrifice. It's about saying no to 99 things so you can give everything to the one thing that matters. And that's where most people fall short. The genius wants to keep all doors open. He wants to feel clever. He wants to win without getting dirty. But the focused one, he's in the mud. He's doing the boring, painful, repetitive work that genius avoids. And that's why he wins. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to be gifted. All you need is the ability to focus so deeply on one goal that you become dangerous. You develop discipline. You build grit. You earn respect, not because you were born great, but because you refused to break. You stayed in the fight when others dropped out. And that's where greatness is born. Not from raw talent, but from raw commitment. So the next time you feel like you're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, remember this. It's not about what you have. It's about what you're willing to give up. It's about whether you can cut out the noise, shut down the distractions, and grind with your eyes on the prize. Because when the genius is lost in thought, the focused idiot is putting in reps. And over time, reps always beat theory. Action always beats intellect. Discipline always beats potential. The game is simple. The rules are brutal. Focus wins. Always. Perfection is the drug that kills progress. Everybody's waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect setup before they move. They spend their whole lives thinking, planning, dreaming, but never doing. That's the trap the genius falls into. They're so wrapped up in their own minds, so caught in the need to be flawless that they end up stuck. Paralysis by analysis. They want to execute the perfect strategy, but they never pull the trigger because perfection doesn't exist. And deep down, they know that. So they delay, they stall, and the opportunity passes them by. Meanwhile, the so-called idiot, he's not thinking about perfect. He's thinking about done. He's thinking about now. He doesn't have all the answers, but he's moving anyway. He doesn't need a perfect plan because he's willing to figure it out on the move. He takes messy action. He makes mistakes. He gets knocked down, but he learns fast because he's in the fight. He's on the field. While the genius is still standing on the sidelines, waiting for the game to look ideal, the idiot has already scored points, and he'll keep scoring because he's not afraid of imperfection. That's the difference. One man is addicted to control. The other is addicted to growth. One wants certainty. The other embraces chaos. One thinks his way out of action. The other acts his way into learning. It's not about who's smarter. It's about who's moving, who's failing forward, who's willing to look foolish today so they can win tomorrow. Execution will always outweigh intelligence when intelligence is too afraid to make a move. People don't get this because they've been taught to fear mistakes. Schools reward the right answer, not the right effort. Society praises genius, not grind. But the real world rewards action. It rewards pain tolerance. It rewards the one who shows up when it's ugly, when it's hard, when it's not perfect, and still gives it everything. Success isn't pretty. It's built in the dirt, in the silence, in the hours no one sees, and you can't build anything real if all you do is think. The truth is, nobody cares how smart you are if you don't produce results. Nobody cares how genius your plan is if you never bring it to life. Ideas are worthless without execution. Dreams are just illusions until you fight for them. That's what most people don't understand. They think they're better because they know more, but knowledge without action is dead. It's empty. It's nothing. That's why the person you underestimate, the one you call average, the one who doesn't sound impressive, that person is dangerous because he's not wasting time chasing perfection. He's outworking everyone. He's learning through action. And day by day, he's building something real while everyone else is still planning to start. So if you've been waiting for the perfect time to begin, understand this. It's never coming. The time is now. The plan is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is what you do next, not how smart you sound, but how committed you are, not how perfect your plan is, but how hard you execute it. You want results? Let go of perfect. Lock in, move forward, make mistakes, learn, adapt, do it again. Because in the end, it's not the smartest that win. It's the most relentless. The ones who show up and do the work no matter what. Distraction is the silent killer of greatness. It doesn't come with warning signs or loud alarms. It slips in quietly, hides behind comfort, and pretends to be harmless. But day by day, it drains your energy, breaks your momentum, and steals your focus. And before you know it, you're off track. You're scrolling instead of grinding. You're reacting instead of building. You're busy, but not effective. And that's the trap most people fall into. They confuse movement with progress. But progress only comes when your energy is laser focused and fully committed. You could have the highest potential in the world, but if your mind is divided, you're going nowhere. You can't build greatness if you're constantly distracted. Your phone, your notifications, your addictions, they're robbing you of the one thing you can't afford to lose, your attention. And attention is power. Attention is life force. When you give it away freely, you lose control. And when you lose control, you lose the battle. That's why intelligence alone is useless. You can be the smartest guy in the room, but if you're chasing 10 different things, none of them get done. You're not dangerous when you're scattered. You're dangerous when you're locked in. The world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most focused, the ones who can shut the door on everything else and say, this is what I'm doing. This is who I'm becoming, no matter what, no matter how long it takes. The truth is, people are addicted to distraction because distraction is easy. It's comfortable. It doesn't demand anything from you. You can scroll for hours and feel like you're busy. You can start 100 projects and never finish one and still convince yourself you're working. But deep down, you know you're not. You're hiding. You're avoiding the hard work. You're avoiding the discomfort that real progress demands. But the focused one, he's different. He's not smarter. He's more ruthless with his attention. He protects his time like his life depends on it. Because it does. He's not chasing trends. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's building something brick by brick. And every time you get distracted, every time you check out, he's pulling ahead. Not because he's more talented, but because he's more locked in. Focus is rare today, and that's what makes it valuable. In a world where everyone's distracted, the one who can concentrate becomes unstoppable. While others burn their energy chasing every shiny object, the focused one channels it. He's not just working hard, he's working deep. And that depth compounds. That depth builds mastery. That depth builds power. So if you're serious about your goals, you better get serious about your attention. Cut the noise, kill the distractions. Train your mind to stay present, to stay locked in, to stay obsessed with one thing, because that obsession is what separates the average from the elite. You don't need more talent. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. You need to reclaim your mind. You need to get aggressive about protecting your focus, because if you don't, the world will take it from you. And once it's gone, so is your shot. Distraction turns beasts into bystanders. Focus turns underdogs into legends. Choose wisely. Obsession is a word people fear. They throw it around like an insult. You're obsessed, they say, as if that's a bad thing. But if you want to build something great, if you want to rise above average, if you want to create something that lasts, you better get obsessed. You better develop the kind of tunnel vision that blocks out everything except the mission, because balance doesn't build empires. Moderation doesn't create champions. Obsession is what drives progress when motivation runs out. It's what keeps you grinding when nobody's watching. It's what makes the impossible inevitable. Look around. Most people are dabbling, half in, half out. They dip their toes in the water, but they're afraid to dive. They want the result without the sacrifice. They want success, but they're too busy trying to stay balanced, to live their best life, to do a little of everything. That's a lie the world sells to keep you average. And if you buy into that, you'll never know what you're capable of. You'll never tap into your real potential, because potential is only unlocked through deep, obsessive focus. See, obsession is misunderstood. It's not about being reckless. It's about being relentless. It's about waking up every day with purpose. It's about knowing what you want and refusing to back down, no matter how long it takes or how hard it gets. It's about shutting out the noise, ignoring the critics, and doing the work every day, without exception. While the world chases pleasure, the obsessed chase purpose. While others rest, the obsessed rise. While the crowd seeks comfort, the obsessed seek progress. And you know what happens over time? The obsessed start to separate. They start to pull away. They start to achieve things that others can't even comprehend. Not because they're better, but because they're focused. They've trained their mind to stay on one thing. They've burned the boats. There's no plan B, no backup, just commitment, just the grind, just the mission. That's what scares people. That level of intensity, that level of dedication. Because when someone is truly obsessed, they become unstoppable. You can't shake them. You can't tempt them. You can't distract them. They don't need permission. They don't need applause. They're locked in and they're not leaving until the job is done. So the next time someone tells you to calm down, to take it easy, to lighten up, remember this. Those same people will come back years from now asking how you did it. They'll want to know the secret. And the answer will be the same. I was obsessed. Obsession isn't crazy. It's required. It's what turns average into exceptional. It's what turns doubt into dominance. It's what turns pain into power. You want to win? Get obsessed. You want to master your craft? Get obsessed. You want to rewrite your life? Get obsessed. Nothing great was ever built by the balanced and the casual. Greatness is built by those who are willing to go all in, who are willing to bet everything on themselves and burn with purpose. So stop fearing the word. Stop apologizing for caring too much. Stop listening to people who gave up on their own dreams. Let them live in the middle. You were made for more. You were made to lock in. You were made to go deep. You were made to get obsessed. People don't understand how dangerous silence is. Not because it's quiet, but because real work is happening in it. See, when someone disappears, when they stop showing off, when they stop posting and flexing, and instead they lock in behind closed doors, that's when transformation begins. The world thinks you're done, but you're not done. You're becoming something. And when you come back, they won't recognize you. When you're underestimated, you hold power. No expectations, no pressure, no noise. And that's a gift because it gives you time to build. Everyone's looking at the genius, praising the guy with all the talent. But meanwhile, you're in the shadows, stacking reps, learning from pain, failing in silence, and building muscle, physically, mentally, emotionally. You're sharpening your edge. You're building something real. And when the lights finally hit you, it's too late for them to catch up. See, the world loves to count you out. They look at where you are, not who you're becoming. They call you average, stupid, weak, good. Let them, because the minute you start feeding off that doubt, the minute you stop chasing validation, you become lethal. You stop caring about opinions and start caring about execution. While the genius wants applause, you want results. While the genius is busy being admired, you're busy being forged. And the funny part, most geniuses are comfortable. They've been praised their whole lives. They're used to winning without effort. So when it gets hard, when it stops being easy, they break. But the underdog, the so-called idiot, he's been fighting from day one. He's used to struggle. He's used to doing more with less. He's built for pressure, and that makes him dangerous. Every rep you take in silence, every hour you spend grinding when no one's watching, it compounds day after day, inch by inch. You don't see it at first. Nobody does. But one day, the results show up, and they don't whisper. They scream, because nothing speaks louder than someone who was doubted, counted out, and overlooked, rising from the dirt and showing the world what true focus looks like. You don't need to be on their radar. You don't need their approval. What you need is obsession, discipline, hunger. You need to disappear from the noise, from the distractions, from the people who don't believe in you, and build something they can't ignore. Your time in the shadows isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's where you grow. It's where you earn your edge. So don't fear being the underdog. Embrace it. It means you've got space to work, time to evolve. And when you step out, you'll be unrecognizable, not just to them, but to the old version of yourself. The one who used to make excuses, the one who used to care what people thought, the one who used to quit when it got hard. That person's gone, replaced by someone built through pain, forged through discipline, and carved out by silence. You don't need noise. You don't need talent. You don't need to be born special. You need to be focused, obsessed, and unshakable. Because when they look back and ask how you did it, you won't need to say a word. The results will speak for you.